Well, hello and welcome to the first video we've put up on this channel, and it's been several years now. So I just wanted to take a minute and say hi to you and tell you what we're about to do and what we've been doing. And the reason that we've been gone so long, I came up to the mountains, I guess it was 13 years ago now. And when I was traveling and performing up in this area, we bought this little cabin up here back around 2000, and I got to the point where I was having some memory issues, and performing was not as much fun as it used to be because I was always anxious, worried about forgetting words and all that kind of stuff. So I thought I was retiring from the music business, and I came up here and I got into my woodworking, which is my second love. But I'm not terribly good at it. I just enjoyed doing it. You know, music was my life and my first love, and still is. But I just thought that period of my life had come to an end. And so I started making some wood videos, and they got up and went nowhere fast. Well, I had put up a few of my music videos early on when YouTube was just a fledgling entity. I think it was about 2006 or 7 when they first started. And the quality was not very good because nobody had a fast internet connection, so it didn't matter anyway. But the internet's got better and better and better, and all of a sudden Google buys YouTube and turns it into a high-definition platform and made it where those of us that can create music and videos have a place to present our music. Well, I looked down one day after about 7 years. Literally 7 years had passed since I had done any music to speak of. And several of my music videos had started getting views, but one of them in particular, Sweet By and By, had more views than all of my wood videos put together. And I thought, what if I actually spent some time in those early videos? I didn't do anything but go out and find me a place to stand in front of a tree or something and just shoot a video of me lip syncing to some of my CDs. So there wasn't any time spent on it, and it didn't look very good, wasn't very good. But I thought, well, now wait a minute. Maybe the music is speaking louder than the actual video itself. And by that time because of my wood channel, I had gotten some better video equipment, better editing equipment, and I was actually equipped to make some halfway decent videos at that point. I thought, well, what would happen if I spent some time and actually tried to make an art out of doing some videos? Well, I put up What a Friend We Have in Jesus. I had a morph program, and I morphed several pictures of Jesus, and all of a sudden it just took off. It started getting views. I thought, maybe I'm onto something. So I started making videos of all my old gospel songs, and there was about 60 of them. And one at a time, I got busier and busier with the music. And then all of a sudden, YouTube comes up with the idea of having this live stream stuff. Well, I had gotten to be about 74 years old at that point. I was 65 when I retired from the road. I was about 74, and I thought, I just need to build me a little video studio here on this property. I had a big studio back in Covington, Georgia. That was where I produced I had produced all of my stuff there, but we did about 100 albums there of different artists and things. But I didn't need that big one anymore because I wasn't taking outside projects anymore. I thought, I just need a little room up here to have a video editing suite and where I can record or do whatever I do. And so I started working on that, and I actually put some of the videos of me making that studio on this channel. All of a sudden, I got the idea, well, I think I'll do a sing-along on Friday night. And so I did a live stream sing-along and did that for about 3.5 years, but I had no idea how that was going to consume me. You can't imagine how long it takes to put together what roughly is a 45-minute to an hour program every week, week after week after week. You've got to make all the videos, you got to do all the talking parts. And we had, it's just me. There's no producer, there's no writer, there's no staff, there's no nothing. Anyway, I finally got to the point I just reached burnout about 6 months ago. And I just had to announce that I would only be doing reunion shows after that. And so I do one occasionally, but I just could not keep up the week after week thing. And I'm 78 years old, fixing to be 79 now. So I'm trying to find videos that I can make where I don't have to do big productions and, make 8 or 10 videos to do for that particular show, that sort of thing. And so it dawned on me, my hobby is in-scale model trains. So I decided, I had learned to use Sketchup, and I had gotten a 3D printer and had designed a few little models to print out on my 3D printer to go up on my layout, my train layout. And then I began to realize there's a lot of hobbyists out there, and a lot of them, they will get their files from Thingiverse or some of these other places on the net, but they haven't really learned to design their own program, on their own designs. So I thought, well, what if I show people what I have learned about designing little models that they can print out on their 3D printer? It turns out that Sketchup is no longer free. But if you go to CNET, I'll put a link below. You can still get the free version from CNET if you go now. Now, this video may be up for years to come, and who knows how long it'll be on that site. So I would quickly go over it and see if it's still there and try to get it. But also, some of you may be like me. When I first started using SketchUp, I learned a little bit here and a little bit there, and really, I didn't use it much because my knowledge of how to use it was so spotty. And I ran across this lady named Brooke, Godfrey. And she had done a series of videos on SketchUp that were 3 to 5 minutes long. I don't know about you, but I have a short attention span. And for me to sit down and try to watch a 3 or 4 hour video that explained everything about SketchUp, I'd get 15 minutes into that and I'd be gone, But she did it where they were just short little videos, and when you got 10 or 15 minutes, you can watch 2 or 3 of them, or as long as you can keep your mind on it and everything. So it turned out, she must have 30, 35 little videos like that. But it doesn't take you long. That sounds like a lot. But at 3 or 4 a day, in just a few days, you've gone through all of them. And that's what I did. And all of a sudden, I had this knowledge of SketchUp where I could try things and do things with it. I designed it. In fact, I even used it to design my little studio, my little editing suite that I was telling you about. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some series that show you what I've learned about designing these little models. And, of course, what I will show you, you can take and learn and design your own stuff. You can make up your own designs and things. But go, if you have a spotty knowledge of SketchUp, I will put a link to her down below as well. Go and watch her videos. When you come away from her videos, you will know how to use SketchUp. And there's one last thing. When you when you go to 3D print something, there's a thing called a slicer, and you have to slice your model and then feed that to the printer. Well, that is an STL file, and SketchUp, the free version of SketchUp, does not have an STL exporter, but you can go to their extension warehouse, and I'll put a link to it. There'll be 3 important links below. I'll put a link to that. Go and download that extension. It's free. And then go to Google and Google how to install an extension in SketchUp. And it will clearly show you how to do that. And then when you look in your file folder over here, you will see something like this, Export STL. And I won't get any further into that today because we don't have anything to export, but we will we'll get into that as we do some series. But what I want to do today is I want to show you the first series that we're going to do. There's several ways that you can make things happen in SketchUp, and I'm going to try to do it the simplest possible way in this first series. There will be 6 episodes in this series. In the first episode, I'm going to show you how to extrude. We're going to do this in what I call the extrusion method. We're going to extrude a shell in the first video. The next video, I'm going to show you how to extrude the doorway and the door facing and the chimney. And then the video that follows that, we'll do a window. The video that follows that, we'll do the siding. The video that follows that, we will do the roof. And then we will do what I call the print video. Once we finish this design right here, I'm going to show you how I go from nothing to this. Once we do that, then I'm going to show you my process for downloading the STL files, slicing it, putting it in my printer, printing it out, and then you'll be able to see the final product. But anyway, I just wanted to introduce this idea to you, and I hope that you'll want to watch these videos and see how I go about designing this. If you don't already know how to do this, I promise you, when you come away from here, you're going to know how to make basic little in-scale designs. Now, let me bring up a notepad here. Something that I also do is I have learned that working in millimeters is a whole lot easier than working in fractions. And when you're dealing with these little scale models, you're dealing with such small numbers. For example, in the scale world, in the in-scale world, 2 millimeters equals a foot. Well, in the imperial form of measurement where we use fractions, it would be roughly 5/64 of an inch. Which would you rather do math on, 5/64 or 2? You can multiply almost anything by 2, and you can do that in your head, But 5/64 is another ball game. So I quickly began to realize we have a millstone hung around our neck with this imperial system. The meter system is to the base 10. In a way, our imperial system is to the base 12. Which would you rather multiply something by, 12 or 10? 10, all you got to do is add a 0 on the end. But anyway, I found working in millimeters to be much easier to do math on. And so that's what you'll hear me talking about in the series. Now, I did this little scale thing. I do in scale, and that's very small. 2 millimeters equals a foot. But if you want to do it in atto scale, every time you hear me say 2, then what you're dealing with is 3.5. Okay? Now, when you get up to O scale, there's 2 ways to look at O scale. Some people think 148 is O scale, and that's probably what most people do think of it. But some people use 143. Okay. Well, it turns out that the formula, all you got to do, 305 millimeters equals a foot, right? So if we're in the 1/160th world, you divide 305 by 160, and that tells you a foot is equal to, actually, literally to 1.9 millimeters. But who's counting 1/10 of a millimeter? So just make it 2, and that makes the math easy. So 3.5 for HO, and this is how I derived all of this. O scale can be anything from 6.5 millimeters to 7 millimeters a foot, depending on whether you choose the 148 or 143. Okay? And G scale is actually 1/22.5, but most people use 1/24. So, if you, in the 1/22.5, that comes out to be 13.55 millimeters per foot. At 124, it's 12.7. So why don't we just settle on 13? See what I'm saying? It's not going to make that much different, but it makes the math so easy. So anyway, when you're hearing me talk of the N scale, you can convert, if you want to, I'll put this below in a file for you too, so you can cut and paste this. But this way you can model in any scale you want to. The concept is the same, but you're dimensions will be slightly different. HO is bigger than N scale. O scale is bigger than HO. It's set on down the line. But hopefully when you hear me explain this in these upcoming episodes, you'll be able to model in any scale that you model in. And of course, the bigger the model, the bigger printer you're going to have. I happen to have a Prusa Mini, so I'm somewhat limited. I'm limited to about a 7-inch cube that I can print something in. But I do N scale, so it doesn't matter. That's plenty big enough. But anyway, I just wanted to introduce this idea to you, and we're about to start this series. And like I said, there's going to be, I call this the preliminary. But episode 1 through 6 will show you how I start from nothing, and we eventually wind up with this design right here. And then following that series, I'm going to do one where we work in layers, and you'll be able to, when you extrude something, it all has to be printed in one color. But when you do it in layers, you can print parts. Your chimney could be a color, your roof could be a color, your door facing and trim and all that could be a color. Your door could be a different color. Your siding could be a different color, because all your parts, it'll be like a kit when you get through printing it. But each part can be printed in whatever color you have a filament for. So that sort of tells you what I want to do with this. And I'm sorry I've been away so long, but I was having fun making music. Well, again, I wound up with another career in music that I didn't even know I had. And if you don't know about the Bird Youmans site, if you like old-time gospel music, I'll put a link below to that as well. And I've got a ton of old-time gospel music videos over there. And we've, God blessed us. I mean, we've got about 340,000 subscribers over there now. But I've just gotten old enough now that I want to be able to do some videos. I want to do some teaching videos and show a little bit about Sketchup. I might even do some music lesson videos. But we'll see what the future holds. But anyway, welcome back. Glad to be back with you. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you on episode 1 of, we're going to call this our little lodge house. Thanks for watching.